The government, which should support the poorest of poor in the time of crisis, is withdrawing its support. But we can't blame the government fully, can we? Because the government is trying to balance welfare, it is trying to balance fiscal sustainability, and it is also trying to balance the energy security since the Iran war has unfolded. And in this very quest, the recent announcement of reducing the subsidy under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana has taken the floor. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session, we are going to understand that why over the years the subsidy benefits that have been given in one of the most widespread programs to ensure transition from chulhas and cow dung gases to move towards proper LPG connections. So let us understand that what exactly the government has said as of now. So government says that we are reducing the subsidy that you used to get on LPG cylinders. Now this was given under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Now before I move to break down the announcement, you have to remember that how as soon as the current government set foot in 2014, they talked about giving up their subsidy if you were availing any, and how that can be passed on so as to ensure that the usage of coal, cow dung and the chulhas that are used, that is gone away and the transition towards LPG cylinders is done. Now, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, as I mentioned, was brought in 2016 under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, and the whole idea here was to provide clean cooking fuel to the poorer households. As of now, if you look at the numbers, big numbers, over 10 crore LPG connections have been released. And in this very context, what the government says now, that the subsidy that used to provide for 9 refills every year, that has been reduced to 4. That means the people who used to avail the subsidy under PM Ujjwala Yojana, they will be getting the subsidies only for 4 LPG cylinders annually. And the government is saying we are not revising it because of the price hike. We are not revising it because we are in a crisis situation or there is a burden on us. The government says that the poorer household, their annual consumption shows that they need this much only. So this is where I would like to open the floor to ask you, do you think this decision is rightly explained by this or not? And if you think there are other reasons, you can let me know in the comment section. We will be discussing other reasons, but this is where I want to know from you as well. Now that we have understood what has been announced, let us also look into the timeline, how PM Ujjwala Yojana and the subsidy provided under it has changed over time. So when we are talking about 2026, back then 1600 rupees for helping with the connection, free connection, that was the benefit that was given, and apart from that 12 subsidized cylinders were given. Now back then the subsidy fluctuated based on the global crude oil prices until later a proper cap was fixed. And that happened in May 2022. Apart from that, here also you have to remember 2020 during pandemic, the government also provided the support of 3 free cylinders. Now May 2022 comes in, subsidy is fixed, that rupees 200 subsidy per cylinder was given. That was for 12 cylinders. So if you are going to refill your 14.5 kg cylinder, LPG cylinder, this is the subsidy you are going to get for 12 cylinders. If you are taking more, then you have to pay the full amount. Now October 2023 sets in, this is increased to 300 subsidy, rupees 300 subsidy, and up and until now it was for 12 cylinders. But later in 2025, the government said that the refill that we are talking about and the subsidized rate that we are giving, it is not required for 12 cylinders, it is required only for 9 cylinders, and that should be enough. And now government says ki no, 9 cylinders are not required, annual consumption is not that much, and 4 cylinders should be good enough for the poorer households. So over the years, we can see as probably the subsidy burden on the government has increased, as probably the global crude oil prices have increased, the government has cut down on gradually the benefits that were the welfare support that was given. But in this context, we also need to understand the other dimensions which are playing direct role here. So let us now move towards that. So as of now, if we look at the numbers, if someone wants to get the cylinder, the LPG cylinder price in Delhi 942, even though since Iran crisis unfolded, the prices have gone quadrupled where you are paying 4 times, 5 times in black. But legit rates are these and the PMUY subsidy is 300. So effective consumer price is this. But this is going to be applicable not for 9 cylinders but for 4 cylinders only. Now let us straight up move to understand that what exactly is making government do apart from the argument that government itself is giving. So the first reason we all know here is that how over the years we have seen global energy shocks and the one we are currently experiencing because of the Iran war. Now in recent times, the international LPG prices have increased. How do we know this? We have to look at a very important term here, that is Saudi Aramco contract price. Now what is Saudi contract price? You have to understand that this is the benchmark rate for buying and selling LPG in the international market. Simply you can understand this as the wholesale price tag. Right? If we look at this standard number itself, in this very year, in last 4 months, it has increased approximately by 46%, close to 50% we are saying. So if something was 100 rupees, it is 150 now. Why it has happened? It has happened because of the West Asian conflict. It has happened because of the supply chain disruption. So you have to remember, I am specifically talking about the Strait of Hormuz blockade, which is responsible for more than 40% transit of natural gas. And in this context, we also have to bring India that how India is also dependent in terms of LPG requirements. So we are looking at nearly 60% of dependence. So of course, if we are buying from outside, then this is going to be directly affected to the price changes that are occurring. So as of now, what we are seeing, the supply cost of LPG has increased to rupees 1600 per cylinder, but domestic price, the retail prices, they are lower. If you go and find it in black, which is going on rampantly, this is where I am talking about quadrupled prices such as 3000, 4000, 5000. But if we are booking properly through legit sources, as I mentioned, the prices still remain in this very range. But this is the supply cost. So there is a huge difference, and that difference is something that government needs to take account of. So first reason government took away the subsidy, the prices have increased. Government also has limited bandwidth to pass on the benefits. The bandwidth is crossing at 4 cylinders, so you will get 4 cylinders. Another factor that is coming in is about OMCs, that is oil marketing companies. So in this context, you have to understand the LPG subsidy is as huge as 52,000 crores. If the supply cost is more than 600 and the price that the consumer is paying is only 642 based on Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, not the direct consumer price for everybody. So the loss or the under recovery is around 700, and based on this, the oil marketing companies are clocking losses of around 600 to 700 crores. So this is something that government also wants to take in consideration, because if you remember that government also reduced the import duties, the government duties on diesel and petrol, but the benefit was given to OMCs because they have been reeling with losses. So this is another factor that government has considered, and that's why the subsidy has been taken away. It is just or not, or how it will be managed, that is something that needs to be seen, but these are the factors behind it. And government clearly is saying here that if we can take or manage limited number of losses, otherwise it is going to affect the fuel supply, it is going to affect the OMCs and any future energy investments as well. So the government is saying 3 things here. First, they need only 4 cylinders. Second, prices have increased. Third, OMCs need to be protected for these very reasons. Now in this context, we have to also look at the both sides of this very decision. Is there any pros to it? If you are thinking yes, probably better targeting of subsidies can take place, but this has very limited scope. The fiscal burden on the government will be reduced. This support will be aligned with actual usage, how government is pitching. And of course, when we are talking about welfare spending, when it is being reduced, maybe there is greater sustainability coming with it. But the cons are showing a different side. If we are taking away the support that we were giving for cleaner cooking fuel, then there is a possibility that there will be return to firewood, chulhas and biomass. This clearly shows that LPG will become less affordable. This might lead to higher indoor pollution, higher health problems, and this health problem would be concentrated on the section which is responsible for cooking hair. So when we are looking at government's perspective, we do have certain benefits as they are labeling, but at the same time, concerns also need to be very well addressed. Just a statement or listing out benefits theoretically would not solve the problem. And as of now, when we are talking about balancing between welfare support, fiscal sustainability and energy security, welfare support is going deep down here. So what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your answers. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.